But allow me to use my spiritual imagination this morning and use instant replay. And I will show you that some pitches thrown Charlie Brown's way, he should not have swung at. I said something. Maybe we need to just bring the pitch down a little bit. I want to suggest to you this morning, if I can use my spiritual imagination and if I can call upon instant replay, that some pitches that Charlie Brown swung at, he had no business swinging at. And don't you know, my brothers and sisters, that sometimes in life we strike out because we keep swinging after the wrong pitches. God. Sometimes in life we strike out because we keep going after the wrong thing. Sometimes in life we strike out because we keep being moved by the wrong thing. Yeah. Well, come with me to our text where we find a man who was batting 400 plus. This man named Moses, he had a rough start in life, but now he had things going on in his life. Yeah, sure, Moses, this all-star would-be player, had a rough start. You remember Moses' start, don't you? The story is told that an edict had gone all out across the land, and the edict declared that all the male children were to be put to death. It was a type of genocide. It said that there's any male children who are being born to the Hebrews, you are to slay them, you are to put them to death, you are to bring them to an end. And so Moses is born, and so his mother, she tries to hide him for a little while, but around 3 months she realizes she can no longer hide him, and so she places him in an ark, and she places him in the ark, and she sends this ark down the river bank. And Moses doesn't understand it then, but he would come to understand later on that when trouble is brewing all around you, the safest place to be is in the ark. Yeah, I said something. When trouble is breaking out all around you, when chaos is breaking out all around you, and everything that could go wrong is going on around you, the safest place to be is in the heart. The safest place to be is in the hands of God. And so Moses is going down the riverbank, but look at God go to work as the basket is going down the riverbank. Pharaoh's daughter comes out. Pharaoh's daughters and her servants come out to take her a daily sun bath, and as she's getting ready to take her sun bath, they notice that there's an ark that's coming down the riverbank, and so she sends the command, go and get the basket. And when they bring the basket to her, she discovers that it is a little Hebrew baby, and so she gives the order that says, I'm going to hold on to this baby. And she says, I tell you what, go find one of them Hebrew women that they might be able to nurse and take care of this baby. And watch what God does. Moses' mother ends up getting paid to nurse her own baby. She ends up getting paid to take care of her own baby. Somebody knows that God has a way of always working things out. And so Moses, he's being taken care of his biological mother, who is getting paid by the Pharaoh. And so she's instilling in him some principles. And so consequently in his childhood, Moses receives the best of education because he's in Pharaoh's palace. He's exposed to diverse and multicultural surroundings because he's in Pharaoh's palace. He learns how to fluctuate between the world of talking to kings and princes and leaders and government officials, but he also knows how to stay in touch with the common man. I love people that know how to fluctuate between worlds. I love people that know how to go on a job interview and talk in a professional language, but then they also know how to go back to the hood and talk to the homies and say what it do. I love people that know how to fluctuate between the two worlds. And so Moses knew how to fluctuate between corporate America and home life with the fellas. He knew how to fluctuate, but he had a love for the common man, and his love for the common man would began to manifest itself one day. He's minding his own business. And as he's minding his own business, he notices that an Egyptian smites or hits a fellow Hebrew. And so Moses looks to the right. He looks to the left and thinking that nobody sees him. That's a sermon for another day. Thinking that nobody sees him, he rises up and he slays the Egyptian. Some time passes along, and now two Egyptians are fighting, and Moses decides that I'll intervene in the midst of these two Egyptians fighting, and I tell them, men, let's not fight, let's not quarrel. And one of the Egyptians says, why? If we don't listen, will you do unto us as you did unto the other Egyptian? Moses realized right then and there that everything that's done in the dark eventually brings its way to the light. But we don't have time to unpack that today. Moses then says that I have to get out of town. I've got to catch the fastest train, and I've got to get up out of here because it's been discovered what I've done in my past. And so Moses says that I have to get out of here. And so Moses finds himself on the run. And as Moses is on the run, he finds himself now on the backside of the mountain. He finds himself after 40 years of having a life of luxury, 40 years of after having a life of fame, 40 years of after having celebrity status. He now has to deal with life on the backside of the mountain. And on the backside of the mountain there, as a grown man, Moses serves as a shepherd boy in preparation for shepherdship. I said something, 40 years of glamorous, 40 years of fame, 40 years of glory. But now God has Moses on the backside of the mountain. And on the backside of the mountain, Moses, a grown man, serves as a shepherd boy in preparation for shepherdship. I'm trying to tell somebody this morning, don't even trip about what you're going through right now. It's just preparation for what's in store. I'm trying to help somebody today that says, I'm on a job and I don't even like it. I'm 40 years old and I've got somebody who's half my age giving me orders. Don't even trip because God is just preparing you for the next phase in your life. I'm trying to help somebody this morning that says, I'm dealing with a situation and I'm not even pleased with the situation. I'm not even happy with the situation. Don't even trip over it because God is simply trying to prepare you now for what's in store. I wish I had somebody here this morning that says, I've been looking at this thing wrong, but I've got to adjust my spiritual lenses and stop tripping over things around me and understand that God has me situated here. God has me going through what I'm going through, not because this is my final resting point, not because this is my ultimate destination, but it's just a transitioning point. It's just a transitioning station, and God has prepared me for something greater in store. And I just wish I had 2 or 3 people here this morning that really believe that where you are right now, you ain't even begun to scratch the surface of where God is taking you. You haven't even begun to scratch the surface of what God is getting ready to do in your life. You haven't even got started. You ain't even got cranked up yet. God is just preparing you for what's in store. Look at somebody and say, God just prepared me for what I have in store. They don't believe you. Find somebody else and say, I know your girlfriend ain't here today. She out on a retreat getting clutter free. But I'm trying to tell you that God is preparing me for something greater. So I can't even trip off of what I'm going through. It's just preparation for what's in here. So 40 years on the backside of the mountain. Moses, a grown man, is serving as a shepherd boy in preparation for shepherdship. Because the problem is sometimes we want the fame and the glory right now. But God says, I've got to prepare you for what's in store. Sometimes we want the limelight right now. But God says, I've got to prepare you for that moment. Because the worst thing could happen is you get an opportunity, but you're not prepared for it. So you blow it. You've got to be prepared glad when your moment come, when your time come, when your season come. Tell somebody, I'll be ready.